why they said, but this is Trump, get this. But why did they say that? Because what Esau did is he flipped the script, and he got our people believing that. When I was in the world, I thought that eating lobster and shrimp, and I was doing it big. And we eating this, we doing it big. Really, we was fooled. Because that's the cheapest thing you could get was the lobster and all that. But they give it to our people as it's the delicacy, right?
Top commodity.
This is the top commodity.
Jack up the price and then make you believe that it's, complete wickedness.
And it's easy, but it's more accessible to get. But it does the same thing the pig do. It gives you diseases. It does the same exact thing. Because when you wanna see why the oceans are dirty, guess why? Because our people are eating, we're supposed to clean the ocean.
Yep.
We're talking about like the litter. We're talking about,
the fecal matter.
The fecal matters and everything that, the mussels, the clown.
Mussels eat with the valve. They suck in the water, then they shoot out clean water. And they basically, it filters out. They eat the little particles that's in the water.
So that's why if you see certain.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachar, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect. You brothers out there risking your lives and your security to push this word, now more than ever, like the elder Malcolm likes to go into. All right, your brothers doing this thing in sincerity, in truth. You know what I mean? In the fear of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and you women. And you children that listen in sincerity and fear Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai as well. Shalom. All right. So, this is a camp, that we just held this past Saturday. Just the Elder Ariala and the Black. And I was off camera. I had stepped to the other side. But, as we were just going into, I don't know if you heard it. I had to do this video again. But I don't know if you heard it. But we was going into animals that clean out the ocean. And how our people love to eat these animals, and how Esau teaches you that eating these animals are luxurious and some type of high class type of thing, but that's exactly opposite. But as I just explained about mussels and how they eat and how they clean the water, I just want to get a few articles just to show and prove. This will be a quick hit through the spirit, the Lord willing, so I'm just go into it. All right, the mussel, and this is Wikipedia. I went to the feeding section. It says both marine and freshwater mussels are filter feeders, like I was saying. They feed through a valve. It says let's just read this, are a subgroup of suspension feeding animals that feed by straining suspended matter and food particles from water, typically by passing the water over a specialized filtering structure. Some animals that use this method are clams, krill. Krill is a type of shrimp, which I'll pull that up in a second. Sponges, baleen whales. I think there may be more Salakia. There may be more to this. Just pull this up. Baleen whales and many fish, including some sharks, some birds, some ducks, are filter feeders, and filter feeders can play an important role in clarifying water and are therefore considered ecosystem engineers. They are also important in bioaccumulation and as a result as indicator organisms. The bioaccumulation is the gradual accumulation of substances such as pesticides and other chemicals in an organism. Bioaccumulation occurs when an organism absorbs a substance at a rate faster than that at which the substance is lost by catabolism and excretion. Thus I didn't plan on going into this, thus, the longer the biological half-life of a toxic substance, the greater risk of chronic poisoning, even if environmental levels of the toxin are not very high. So the point is, that's going into, we also went into that about pigs at camp, So I'll touch on that, basically, so what it's saying is, let's just read this and then I'll go into what was just revealed to me through reading. Let's see. Mussels and clams can clean up polluted water as they filter water. This is an article from Seeker, and it says mussels and clams can clean up polluted water as they filter water. The bivalves tissues That's what they're called, bivalves, because they have two valves through which they bring in the water and then they shoot out the water. Tissues absorb some of the chemicals and pathogens that are present in the water. They might not have feather dusters, brooms, or even arms and legs, but bivalves, such as oysters, clams, mussels, and oysters, make good underwater maids, a new study suggests. These useful creatures serve as tiny water filtration systems, constantly sieving the water around them in their hunt for a meal of bacteria or microscopic algae, known as phytoplankton. As they filter water, their tissue absorbs some of the chemicals and pathogens that are present, things like herbicides, pharmaceuticals, and flame retardants. And so we was going into that, and like, you know, if you brothers see the video for camp, you know, in this particular video, we was talking about, you know, the pig, and how when you study how the pig works, he eats this dude here that we were talking to talks about how the pig eats rotten flesh, and he doesn't, you know, he keeps it all in the system. And I was going through, like, you know, yeah, they keep it in their flesh, in their fat cells. They don't sweat. So, and they don't have a long digestion process. So all toxins that they eat get stored into their flesh. And then when you go and eat that animal, you're eating those toxins. You're eating that rotten flesh and the toxins that come with eating rotten flesh, whether that had been human flesh or whatever. You basically are what you eat. And so you're eating the same thing that this pig or this mussel or clam or whatever ate. Also, I said I was going to get what a krill was, because a krill was on that list, and a krill is a form of shrimp. See, krill is in this instance, it's a very small form of a shrimp. See, these are bigger krill, you know, which is a shrimp. And I guess we can get into how shrimp eat. I want to pull out a scripture. I'm not going to go deep into this. Yeah, how does shrimp eat? Shrimp in the larval stage are tiny, float on water. They eat other small things, mainly algae and plankton. The only difference, so they eat algae and plankton as well. Okay. I'm not gonna go deep into it because I don't know, you know, I don't wanna. Anyway, so like we just read in Wikipedia, these animals do not have a way to properly expel these pathogens that they eat. They call it a bioaccumulation, where they suck in more toxins than they expel out of their bodies, which poisons them. So like we was going into a camp, there's not only did the Most High just command, he didn't just command us that we can't eat this stuff just to be, you know, mean or whatever the case may be. You know, he set these things up for a reason. He said you shouldn't eat them, and there's a very good reason why. He doesn't have to explain to you the reason. Now through the Spirit, we're learning now some of these reasons why you shouldn't eat them, but he didn't have to explain them to you. You know, that's our problem. We always want to know, well, why, Lord? Why? Just do what he said do, man. You know, but let's just go into it. Leviticus 11 and 10. Actually, and 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So it has to have a combination of fins and scales in order to be able to eat it. Now let's listen to the Lord reiterate this. Verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So anything that's in the water, that moves around, lives in the water, you might catch it in the water for a brief period. If it ain't got a combination of fins and scales, you should not eat it. It's against the law. Okay? They shall be even an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. So you shouldn't eat them, and their dead bodies should even be something that you avoid because they're an abomination unto you. You know? So I just want to go into that briefly, just bring a little more information out on that, you know. I may read a little bit more here. Yeah, okay, I'll read a little bit more here. Then I'll let that be. It says to see just how good the bivalves are at cleaning up toxins in their environment, the researchers put California floater mussels and Asian clams into a tank treated with wastewater or with treated wastewater that contained various levels of contamination. Within 72 hours, the bivalves, meaning they have two valves, bi meaning two, valves meaning valves, or tubes, so to speak. The bivalves had removed up to 80% of some of the contaminants from the water, according to the researchers. You know, so yeah, that's basically, what's going on, man. That's basically what's going on. They help to cleanse the water. See, the bivalves will also help cleanse the water of pollutants. Each native mussel filters about 2 liters of water a day, so it doesn't take a whole lot to improve water quality. So anyway, hey, I had to redo that lesson. I did it earlier, but it didn't record properly. So hey, Lord willing, this has been edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to hopefully elect. As you can also see some of these things. I'm scrolling down. As you can see, they don't have fins and scales. You can't eat them either. But anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.